It's good morning in Arizona. Where Frank is, it's Paris. It's kind of afternoon. But I'm Brandon Gaston, your host. This is a new episode, new season in the Design Lounge. And, I'm privileged to be with Franck Genser Atelier. So imagine, if you will, last fall, my first Maison Objet event, first night in Paris, first day in Paris, first time in Paris. And I had the privilege of going to a dinner at your atelier. And I'm sitting there, I'm being served by this Michelin star chef. I'm overlooking the streets of Paris. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm starting this off the right way or the wrong way, because it set the bar so high. Like your first day, your first initiation to Paris, incredible furniture, incredible experience. And so again, I'm thankful to have you on. But for those who don't know you, explain who you are and what it is you do.
Hi, thank you, Brandon, for. I'm very happy if you appreciate our welcome, and I would say to your people on the screen that they are all welcome in Paris if they want to come and see the place. We call it the Fog. It's called Fog for Flat Gallery. And my name is Franck Genser, and I'm a French designer working all over the world, and especially for clients in the United States.
Yes, no, I love it. I love it. And I want to get into fog. I remember I was trying to think of what it is that you called it. I want to get back and come back to that. But I want to go and let's start from the beginning. I read that you're an engineer turned designer, and your first business was NAG or NAG, not suffering from gravity. And so looking back,
I'm very happy if you remember that. Yeah, my first company was called NAG. Which means non-affected by gravity.
Okay.
And I worked all over the world in 18 countries, and especially in North America, Canada, and United States, because I had some very good clients for jumping. And I made some horse jump surface all over the world. I was a horse jumping surface. And they called me, in the United States, they called me the footing expert.
So I was wondering, I was like, okay, so I wasn't sure exactly what that was. And I was wondering, how did that influence, looking back, that was 20 years ago. How did that influence? I knew, again, you mentioned it took you to 18 countries, all four corners of the world. How does that influence your design of today? Just having an experience and going all over.
Yeah, it was a very good experience for me because I met a lot of different people. And I worked for the Olympic Games in China and all over the world. And then I had 3 children at home, and it was time for me to go back and take care of my children. So that's why I just stopped, and I just closed my company in the United States about 6 months ago. And
Okay.
now that many people are making what I did invent, in fact, was a mix of fibers and silica, and very precise. And it's a kind of cooking for me. So I cooked the ingredient together. I mixed it to make the good footing for jumping horses.
Now, is that something you did yourself, or did you have experience jumping horses, or is it something that your science engineer background kind of?
Rider, breeding. Yeah, it's a big interest for me, and I'm a horseman. I speak horse. I dream horse. I ride horses. Yeah.
Now, was it a time when you were spending your springs in Florida, or was when you're spending your time in Florida?
Exactly. Because in Wellington, Florida is just nearby Palm Beach, and we had these communities with people making jumping, and I came very often at that time, and I liked the place because it was perfect for from January to March. It's a perfect place to have a nice time.
Definitely.
Weather is very sweet, and sun and all very fun. Yeah, we had a very good time.
Definitely. Don't. I enjoy Florida myself. Recently, I was listening to this podcast. What they said struck me. And what they said was, writers live interesting lives. And when I heard them say that, I thought it resonates with me, because I feel like that's the same with creatives. That's the same with designers. Would you agree that it is imperative, even to a designer, as someone that designs for people all over the world, to kind of be like a citizen of the world? Because I know you traveled everywhere, been everywhere. Would you think that that's a prerequisite?
Yeah, sure, sure. I learn a lot from many people and many countries, and I am somebody who like to understand and listen to the others and discover other way of thinking or other way of living. And all that is inspiration for me because naturally I'm French, and as many French, I'm very proud of that. But it's okay. I like United States very much. I found a very easy business country in United States, and people are enthusiastic, and it's really a pleasure for me always to meet people from America because I like very much these guys and the way of life and enjoying life, and that's what I try to do in my design. I try to sometimes design is a little too serious. It might be a little sad or yeah. I like fun. I like a kind of luxury, but not too
Mhm.
serious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I saw. I remember, some of your. It seems like it's very clear that a lot of your designs are influenced by different aspects and different places you've been, and obviously, like you said, where it's custom, it is luxury design. But again, there's not that level of it doesn't have that. It's not as serious. It is. There is a lightness to it, and I won't say almost like a whimsy, right? Like almost like a whimsy to it, where you don't have to take it. It's not so pretentious, but obviously it is incredibly crafted. Is it true that you sailed to China, Japan, and Burma? And if so, what was that like?
Excuse me for the question again. Is it
I said,
true?
is it true that you sailed? I read that you sailed to China, Japan, and Burma in one of your many travels and expeditions. And if so, what was
Yes,
that for and
yes.
what was
I
that
went to
like?
China, Burma, and Japan. I like Japan very much. They have a very strong culture, and they have incredible people to make the job in woodwork and the lac. I like the lacquer product very much, and I travel all over Japan, of course. And for the same reason, which was lacquer, I went to Burma. I
Okay.
went maybe 5 times or 6 times to Burma. And of course, I traveled through China because it's a fantastic country and very exciting, very electric mood and people in motion. And I like China very much too. And I like understanding other people. And Asia, of course, is a place very exciting from this start of century. Yeah, it's
So I continue. I'm sorry.
okay. It's okay.
So I heard that you're a big fan of the Roaring Twenties. Where is
Yeah.
that inspiration draw from, and where do you see it as it comes to fruition in your designs?
Yeah. Yeah. To say it funny, I always say that I born in the 20s.
Look good. You look really good if you were born in the 20s.
Ruhlman is my father.
Okay.
He's a kind of father for me. Yeah, I like the spirit of the 20s because it was a time that everything was possible,
Hmm.
and I like the way of thinking. And I never copy a piece or do another something that was done before, but my way is to understand how they think about it. And for example, the Bauhaus, they understood that they have to work on themselves to try to change themselves if they want to change the world. So personally, I studied as a psychoanalyst, and I was a very good client for this psychotherapist for more than 25 years. And at least I started to be by myself a psychotherapist, and I made some gestalts because if you want to change something, you have to work on yourself before. Because the first thing you can change is you.
So you almost look at design as an inside out approach, if I hear you correctly.
Yes, definitely yes. And I think that as a designer, there is, of course, my engineer part, which is very rational. And there is my imagination working together, all the dream I have. I'm very lucky because I'm a very bad sleeper. I sleep very
Okay.
bad. And because of that, I'm always, in the middle between sleep and between these two times of, yeah, that's where my imagination is working. That's the way I work. Always things working in the back of my head, and sometimes I think about something, and after 2 days or maybe 2 weeks, then the answer is coming. And I was not thinking about consciously, but the answer is coming after 2 weeks, or yeah. And I think that's because of my bad sleep. My bad sleep is something that it's still working,
Yeah. I was going to ask, are you a bad sleeper because you're always thinking, or are you always thinking because you're a bad sleeper?
I think the second answer is the right one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, I'm like that.
It seems to have worked for you though.
Yeah.
So I know your mantra is to, and it's kind of like you kind of said it. You create what isn't already.
Yes.
And
Sure.
that's the
Sure.
mantra you live by. I would imagine in order to even do that, there has to be a level of curiosity. There has to be a level of exploration. There has to be a level of understanding in order to create what doesn't exist, but yet
Yes,
needs to
but
be here.
London, it's coming. I don't know how it's coming.
Okay.
It's just there. It's coming from my body, and it's just there, and I can't really explain how I do that, but it's coming. It's there. It's if you need something, yeah, I can give you that.
Yeah. Can we talk about that process for a while? Because again, we talked about it being an inside out approach. We talked about it being something that's never been created before.
Yeah.
Yet, again, you want to do something that hasn't been created. You want to do something. You want to change what's going on. What is
Sure.
that process for you creatively when it comes to you and they say, "Okay, I want this."
I would
What is
say
the
that,
process that you go through?
yeah, very good question. Thank you to have this question, Brandon. So I would say that, in fact, all the answer is always in the question. The good creation is first of all is not to give the answer, is to find the question. And
Okay.
in all the projects I do, the question is different, so the process is different, because I give an answer, but I start to think about something, and then there are some phases where I go very large, and then in this large, I try to contract and to choose some parts and say, okay, I think about many things, but this is interesting, and then I start to work with this part, and then it's again like that, expansive, and then short again. And at the end, there is the figure, there is the project, there is the product, there is the way I do, and it's always different. But what I can explain is the moves from going from the center to outside, then choose the porch, then again, and always, going like that to the project. That's the way I work. I don't know if it's very clear. But there is a way of thinking we call phenomenology.
Okay.
Phenomenology, and in the phenomenology, there is what we call the reduction, phenomenological reduction. And
Gotcha. Okay.
that's the way. That's my way of thinking. Yeah.
So it's almost like if I understand you correctly, once you start having the question and the answer starts to formulate, is it a process of almost like deduction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Or you will say, for example, I can do it like that, like that, like that. Solution 1, 2, 3. And what do you prefer? And I would say 2. And then, okay, and which color? I would say, and then I will choose red. And then solution 2, red. And then I start to work like that, by choice, by
Okay.
material of choice.
Yeah, no, like I said, and obviously that comes through. I was at your atelier. For people, I know you said everyone's invited, right? For people that haven't been to your apartment gallery, if you will, right? Gallery, office, family. Could you explain to them not only what it is, I know there's a story behind it, but also the inspiration, the concept of why you want to put everything in one space?
Yeah, it starts with the disease we had these years that everybody has to stay at home and that we can't go outside. Then we start to work at home, and some people, they say, okay, I like at home having a very good home, but my office is not really important because it's just for work. It's not my house or my flat. And for me, the way I am is very important. The place to be, the place I live, I work. That's where I spend my time, and I want a good time. So I start to think about a place to work, to live, to have some friends like you coming and have dinner. That's the way it starts. That because of the because of this very big thing that happened all over the world, that people had to stay at home, I start to say, okay, we won't separate the office from the flat, and we try to make together. That's the way it starts.
I would imagine having a space where everything is together, right? Flats, the office, the gallery. I would imagine that probably adds to your constant creativity, your constant thinking, because you're constantly being reminded of, okay, these different vignettes in your space. Because again, I've been there, right? So I've seen the gallery portion, and then I had the exquisite dinner, and even just eating dinner around the table. I was inspired just being there and looking out the window, right? So I would imagine it is a constant source of creativity and a constant source of inspiration to spur new ideas.
Yeah, we made this place too for a second reason, is that to live with the piece, I can correct if it's not perfect before it goes to the client. Because if I make a seat and I start to use it, then I know if it's a good one or if it's not, or if it's had to be, improved. So that's the way I use this flat as a tool, in fact, to be sure that before we sell a piece, it's okay, it's perfect, it works, and it's like I want. Okay. So
it's almost like R&D.
Yeah, sure. That's my engineer way. And when I was making horse riding surface for jumpers, I was on the R&D side, and I developed many things that now are used by all the companies all over the world, of course. And that's why I stopped, because I always say I'm a man from new things, and it's not a problem if people are copying. And already we have some pieces that other designer are trying to imitate. And okay, that's the game. It's okay. It's always a story of my life. I always say that there are thousands of people living with my ideas, and it's okay.
But
it's my contribution. It's okay.
Yeah. But you are the innovator, and that's the thing. I think the fact that you have the engineering background, and I think I never thought of it like that. But at your atelier, it's not only you testing it out, but you get to test out your product in real time with a myriad of people, right? People that work with you, people that visit, and so by the time it goes to final production, it has been perfected. It's been tested in the real world. Okay, this is what I thought is going to work, but now it's been tested in multiple ways.
Sure. I would say for people working with me that I'm a very difficult person to work with.
No way. I don't believe it.
I'm a nice guy, I think
Absolutely.
I'm a nice guy. But it's
no, without question.
To follow me, to follow the idea, because I have an idea and sometimes it's not very clear. And so they do not understand, and they are asking some question. Okay. And for the second part, is the same, is that when I produce something, I have to follow things to the end, to be sure that at the end, it's really the job I want that it does, the piece, because if I just if I'm just drawing something and say, okay, I draw a plane, just make a plane, and I give you the drawing, and they would say, finally, we made a bike. And you know why? Because it's more easy to produce a bike than a plane.
Mm-hmm.
So when you make my job, you have to be very strong and to be at the end very sure that you get what you want, because the people, they are making it as they understand it, or yeah. So it's a big part of my job to be sure that things are going well to the end,
It seems
to
like hearing
deliver.
that. Yeah. And to deliver the product works as it should. Seems like upon hearing that, you would think you start with, I won't say you start with, but form versus function, right? What comes first? What's more important? It seems like you are very creative, or have a aspect of ingenuity when it comes to the form, but then you make sure the function works as it should. Is that the process you kind of go through, where it starts
Exactly,
with the creativity?
exactly. For me, form is a function.
Okay.
I can say it again. Form is a function, because form is the way you will feel with the armchair or the table. It will make you feel something. So form is a function. The function of feeling you well with the table or with the armchair or with the rug or anything we do. Of course, form is a part of the function. The difference between design and art for me is that art is just one function. Art is just feeling. You
Yeah.
know, you have a painting on your wall, and I see the wall behind you. Very nice. I like it very much.
Thank you.
And but
But it
this is
evokes the
only
emotion.
one function. But for me, of course, a table or an armchair is a function to sit for an armchair, and of course, and you have to be well seated, and you have to be comfortable, and to have the right size, and everything must be okay. But it can be as a second function, the form, and to be a piece of art. So it's part of the yeah. And it's very easy to, no, it's not very easy, but it's okay, and it's not so, if you are only making a piece of art, or if you are making only a seat, but to have the both function together, that's not so easy sometimes. It takes time. It takes
Yeah.
a lot of work, and I see many I see many people are sometimes they say, okay, I make design, and the only thing I see is that there is not a lot of work.
Yeah.
It didn't really work. And one thing is that we work in this company, we work very hard. We work very hard. It might be hundreds of hours to make a seat, just to be sure that it's all the functions together. And it's a lot of work. I would say that
Yeah. Because
work is the key word. Keyword is work.
yeah, I mean, it's much harder, right? It's easier. And I don't want to say easier, but if you just focus on function, that removes the form, the artistic
Yeah,
aspect of
sure,
it.
sure.
If you just focus on the art, that removes, how does it really work in the real world? Like, yeah, it looks pretty, it looks beautiful, but how does it actually really work in the real world? And I think that's what it comes to when you say design is to change what's going on. It is the combination of the two. It is equally functional and it is equally beautiful, and those two
Yeah.
things together, that requires that extra level of effort, the extra level of R&D, what changes the environment, because it then becomes, it's not just a chair, right? It's something that I feel good in. I act differently, I sit differently. My background being in fashion, I always like, oh, just about the clothes. Yes, the clothes will look good, but it's also how you feel, it's also how you move, it's also how people receive you. And so it's not just one dimensional, right? It's all these extra layers when you actually take the time to look at it like that.
I exactly with you, Brandon. I wouldn't have said better. That's exactly what you said. Yeah, because seating is an experience, and it can be an experience with your body, and it can be an aesthetic and you touch the wood and the color and the vibration of the surface and all that. All that is part of the experience.
Without question.
And I like that. it's like cooking, and
Okay.
I work for the clients. Of course, we have things the gallery that people will probably like, and that's what they said. But we can, because I'm a psychoanalyst too, I can really make something for them, especially in the meeting. And the fog is one-to-one, Boulevard Saint-Germain. And one-to-one means meeting. It's a one-to-one with you, Brown, at the time. And it means that it's in the meeting that things are born in the meeting with people, and say, okay, I meet this woman, I meet this guy, and he like that. And what I feel about this person is something I can do for her
Yeah.
to make her feel better.
And that one-on-one makes it one-on-one, right? It makes it just unique and customized to that person. I will want to go to your latest collection, the Cascade collection, because I know
Yeah.
that includes sconces, pendant lighting, and I know it's heavily influenced by Japan. What was it about Japan that made you want to create this collection, and why now? Why do you feel like this is a need? Because it seems like, from what I'm taking, is you don't just create for the aspect of creating, right? You create things that it's lacking. It hasn't been done before. There's something new, right? It changes the conversation, changes the landscape. It also changes how someone feels when they have that in their
Yeah, sure,
space.
sure. I can explain that. Yeah, there was different things in this collection. What I liked first is that we try to work with only one piece, very simple, and the combination of this piece makes the products, make the collection different, and it works together, and one in the other one, and it makes a chain. And the first idea was coming when I saw, in Japan they have iron chain for the water coming from the roof.
Okay.
You see, on the corner of the house they have some chain, and it makes the water go down.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I
So
mean, I saw it was like gutters and tiles, like all that was was a part of the inspiration.
no, it's more the chain
Okay.
in Japan.
Okay.
The chain come from the roof for the water.
Okay.
And I like this form. And sometimes they have some small ceramic pieces going one in another one. And I start to think about that it was a very nice way to work, to have only one piece, and to make a kind of Lego. With only one piece, you can make many things different. And as an engineer, I like that very much, this kind of system, that one piece, and it's kind of, you say, oh, I like it. It's genius.
Yeah.
The idea is like only one piece and making very different things.
No.
So
Yeah.
that was the start of this collection. I like alabaster very much because of the 20s. You said that I like the 20s very much, the Art Deco period, and Ruhlmann and Jean-Michel Franck, and we had many, many and very good designer in France at that time. It was 1 century ago. And so I made this piece in alabaster, and because there was a problem with alabaster century ago, and the problem is that you can't eat the alabaster. And now we have this light with lead.
Okay.
And lead is not eating alabaster. So it's a new way to use it. And I think that we can things now that they were unable to do because they had not the right light like we have now. And it gave us so many possibilities. We are very lucky for that.
Yeah. No. How long does something like that take to create? From when you start getting the inspiration, can you give me a timeline? How long does something like that take from inspiration to ideation to completion?
It depends. Sometimes I can draw a collection in maybe some days, I would be able to draw 4 collections in one day.
Okay.
And yeah, it's crazy. I can make a lot very fast sometimes, and sometimes it takes time, maybe months. For this idea was pretty fast, I think. But we can't really say that because it's because I think a lot every day and I never stopped thinking about all this.
Yeah,
That sometimes it's coming very fast, but this is because I think a lot a long way before. So yeah, the idea is sometimes 1 second, but that's because I have all this training and
totally.
experience of thinking about this kind of questions.
No, totally. I mean, it's a culmination of experience, of travels, of inspiration, of ideas, of
Yeah,
being in the industry for so many
and
years.
bad sleep and bad sleep.
Yeah, bad sleep, bad sleep. So we know what. So what's next? Besides the fact that you aren't going to be able to get good sleep, what is next from the atelier? Or can you even mention it? Do we get
Oh,
an exclusive, or what's next?
yeah, sure. Then I start to draw on a paper, things like that. And after a couple of drawing, because sometimes my hand, I like to draw with my hand because she knows better than me.
Okay.
My pen and my hand, sometimes it's arriving on the paper, and sometimes I didn't think about it, but my hand,
Creates it.
yeah, and it's part of the process. And then when it's okay, I say, oh, this is a big drawing, a lot of drawings, and then choose one, and then choose one, and then choose, and it's going to the product, as I said.
Yeah. So do we have do you know yet? Have you thought of the next collection? Have you thought of the next piece? Are you constantly
Yes,
creating?
yeah. Actually, we have a problem is that I'm drawing a lot and I'm drawing too much,
Okay.
and they can't sell and produce all what I all drawings. So if you know people and maybe people listening to our conversation who need something, I can draw it for them because I'm a very big drawer. Yeah, I draw a lot. That's the way. Yeah. And actually, we have maybe 20 collections. Wait for the company say, okay, it's okay, Frank, we can take one.
Okay.
One more
See.
because it's going too fast. My drawing is going faster than our capability to produce and to sell it.
Well, I think that's a great way to leave it. I can't wait to see the next collection. And it seems like you already have 20 in the pipeline. I know the next time I come to Paris, I know where I'm stopping. I'm definitely gonna come over and say hi, check out the
Yeah,
atelier,
I would
hopefully
show
have
you.
dinner.
I hope so, Brandon. I would show
Yeah.
you. Yeah, we have something coming for September, I hope,
Okay.
which is absolutely crazy, and you will like it. It's absolutely crazy, and I'm very impatient to see it because I really hope in this new collection. And so that's a good way, because if I'm drawing 20 collections, we can choose the one that we can't help us.
Yeah. Okay.
Say this one we really have to do it because it's so nice, it's so great, and we like it so much. So yeah, it's enthusiastic in fact, and it's okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to visit. I'm grateful to have you on as the first guest of this new season. And I'm a fan and I can't wait to see what's next. So thank you so much. And we'll have all the information people to follow you, check you out, come, to contact you for the one-on-one for the drawings and figure out what they want. I just can't wait to see you next time.
Thank you very much, Brandon, and I hope to see you soon.
All right, you have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right. So I stop in the recording now.